What a day, bro. Just a crazy, crazy historic day. A weird day. One of the people running for president is now a convicted felon. And among other things, he's already been found guilty of all sorts of frauds, liable for sexual abuse. Now he's a convicted felon on 34 counts. And the jury obviously arrived at that decision super fast, too. Well, first off, it's the ramifications of an ex-president being found guilty of crimes, found guilty on all 34 counts. Now, Donald Trump has other much more serious cases out there. And right here, though, is really interesting what Luke Zaleski here says, because I think we have to pay attention to this. Can we talk about the fact that the current right-wing GOP narrative of the present moment is there is a giant global conspiracy / secret government controlling everything just to make Trump look bad, and he's the one person on the planet who knows about it and can be trusted and believed. That's what they're going with. There's only one guy that can be trusted. Like, yeah, that's believable. They don't even know what's going on. Oh! Right? And they just want to cry. The Republican freak out about this is really weird, and it's really sad that Republicans want us to believe that the American judicial system, look at how they talk about law and order and criminals being brought to justice. And here it is. There was a jury, a grand jury found the indictment. They tried the case. Donald Trump said he was going to testify. He said it out of his own mouth, and he didn't. They presented their whole case. A jury found him guilty in a court of law in America. So what are they saying? They're saying they don't believe that our criminal justice system works anymore? Because I'm telling you right now, if they don't believe that this trial by jury was fine for Trump, then they're also by extension saying that all the other felons in prison should be set free, I guess, right? It stands to reason because either the system works or it doesn't. You don't get to say that, oh yes, every other felony conviction that has come out of this New York court is legal and fine, but this one conviction is now a travesty. Like, bro, these are not his problems. They are the nation's. This is happening not because he hid payments to a porn star, but because our whole country is being rigged and has gone to hell. This is the whole shtick, this claim that he's not a criminal, but he is. He is a convicted felon. They want to live in this denial about this. The jury was rigged. The trial was rigged. The 2020 election was rigged. The other 3 trials are rigged. The sex abuse judgment was rigged. The charity fraud and tax evasions, all rigged. The Access Hollywood tape where we heard his voice, that was rigged. Everything's rigged. The 6 bankruptcies are rigged. Dozens of affairs, all rigged. The 4,000 lawsuits Trump's been involved in, rigged. Losing the popular vote in both elections, that was rigged. His bone spurs that got him out of Vietnam, rigged. The fines for racist landlording, rigged. Him being friends with Epstein, rigged. Everything in Trump's life has all been rigged. For the last 50 years, it's just been rigging. First off, to have somebody as openly criminal as Donald Trump even make it to the presidency was pretty wild. Because the man has been on the fringes of criminal conduct for 30 years. He's been accused and sued and had all kinds of cases against him. From the federal government suing him for racial discrimination and landlording to, fraud with investor deals and the bankrupting of a casino and suspicions of money laundering, interactions with the mafia and dirty money. This man has skirted jail for the better part of his life. But then he decided to run for office while continually being a crook. Like the ego and the sense of untouchability on this guy is something crazy. And it all caught up to him. And again, there's other cases waiting in the wings. And what's more, though, is there's like a contingent of people that are more loyal now that the person is a convicted felon. But to me, dude, one of the things that really hit it for me was this tweet by Andrew Tate. I feel like this tweet right here really says a lot. This tweet is really profound in a way, because obviously Andrew Tate's not donating any money to Donald Trump. You can't donate from a foreign country. So this tweet is bullshit. But the fact that Andrew Tate decided to just breaking out the N-word on Twitter in response to this whole thing and having all these people in his comments, it is really gross, because this really encapsulates so much of Trumpism. This is really what it's about, man. This is about post-Obama backlash. And this is about white men wanting to be able to use the N-word and wanting to be able to break laws and have no consequences and be able to get away with anything like they used to do in the 50s. Elon Musk bought a social media network to bring Andrew Tate back to engage in this type of using the N-word kind of shtick. That's Trumpism for you. You know, it's really interesting because the country is really divisive right now. But, you know, I feel like we should be, bro. You know what I'm saying? Really, when you look at this, this deserves to be divisive. We need to kick these thinking they're all badasses and thinking they can be racist and, you know, want to go back to the 50s. We need to kick those motherfuckers to the curb, bro, in this election. We're not going back to that. We're not going back to the 1950s, white men walking around just shitting on everyone and the whole world having to take it. They believe in law and order unless it's against them. But here's the problem. You ready? The problem is it's not over, guys. It's not over. If Trump wins in November, all of the criminal trials against him will stop. If he gets in, he's going to sow chaos in a deep sort of way. Really, the only shot we have, I don't want to go into the whole doom and gloom. Like, even if he gets in there and even if he starts trying to dismantle the government, I believe that we would survive that. I do. I'm going to believe that our system is immune to this penny ante dictator. But the problem is if Trump gets in there, he is going to cause enough damage to the government and be able to add 2 more Supreme Court justices to replace the 2 conservative guys that are going to retire. So we'll be looking at 50 years of horrible Christian nationalist Supreme Court rulings and a dismantled government that will take probably 30 years to fix. I do think that the damage would probably outlast my kids. So we have a chance now to historically show up and vote this motherfucker out in November and just be done with him. If he loses, those other trials are going to then play out. He has several other criminal trials waiting for his ass related to the insurrection, related to the theft of classified documents and his attempt to obfuscate the fact that he had them and hide them. So this is our chance to get rid of this motherfucker forever. And frankly, guys, I'm ready to just get rid of him. Dude, I'm so tired of him and his constant whiny, everything is rigged, it's rigged, it's rigged, it's fake, right? Blah, 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 right? The man who talked so big about how he was going to prosecute Hillary Clinton, put her in jail and all that. And look at what he is. He's the convicted felon. He's the 2-bit crook, bro. He's such a bullshit artist. He's a liar. He's a cheat. He's a misogynist. He's a rapist. Digitally penetrating E. Jean Carroll in a Bergdorf Goodman dressing room, being found civilly liable for sexual abuse. Like, my God, dude, this guy is toxic. He's a criminal. He's a convicted felon. He should go to prison. Kim had 4 years, and he had both houses of Congress for 2 of those years. And he had all his chances to seal the border and to end the deep state and do all that other shit. And he didn't do shit. He gave a bunch of tax cuts to the wealthiest motherfuckers on the planet. That's all he did in 2 years. And then I watched him yell at reporters and say the most insane while tens of thousands of people were dying of a global pandemic every day, bro. He would get in a podium and start yelling at reporters when they would ask him tough questions. He's a miserable, slimy, deceptive, cowardly piece of trash, bro. You know what I'm saying? He's cowardly. He wouldn't even take the stand in his own criminal trial because he's a coward, okay, that likes to sit up on a bully pulpit and belittle people, especially attacking marginalized people. But now we all know, too, that Donald Trump committed felony crimes to hide information that would have probably lost him the election. That's really it. It was right after the Access Hollywood tape came out. He would have been sunk. Can you imagine? Butter emails, yeah. She got her name dragged through the mud, got vilified and attacked over and over again. And what do we find out? Trump and David Pecker were making up fake stories about Ted Cruz and the other Republican candidates during the primary. So you find out that Donald Trump won the Republican primary partially by spreading fake stories in the media, complete lies to debase his Republican opponents. His entire campaign was crooked. His entire campaign was a scam. It's crazy. And the whole time he was talking about fake news and all that. This guy is a degenerate criminal motherfucker. But again, we have to beat him at the ballot box. We got to show up in November.
The test for us now as a country is whether or not this former president and his allies will have succeeded in trying to undermine the rule of law so that people reject this as a legitimate function of the rule of law in our country.
That's a really big problem right there, because you either believe in the American jury system or you don't. You either support the system or not. But now they're going to say that all those other trials in the last 300 years are legitimate, but this one is just some rigged contraption? How is that? Every other person that's in prison, their trials were legitimate, but Donnie's was rigged. Like the election. All those Republicans that won the House of Representatives, won their elections, all of them were legit, but supposedly Donnie's was rigged. The party of law and order, one of their own gets convicted, and now all of a sudden they're not about law and order. They're all posting this about, I will be voting for a convicted felon this November. If you guys have ever looked at her timeline, they degrade everybody. Anytime a black man is shot by the police, they parade him around and say, oh, he was a felon. He was a convicted felon. They always throw that around. It's the crux of their racism. How is it that when a black man gets shot by a cops and he's a felon, you're convinced that he deserved it, but now she's going to vote for one? Because it's not about felony. It's about, you know, these people, they don't like black people. They want black people to be labeled as dangerous. They want gay people to be labeled as dangerous. They want Democrats to be labeled as dangerous. They want anybody that opposes them in any way, that behaves in a way that they will use the label woke to describe. And they get to pick whatever they attach that label to. They want all of them to be marked as dangerous. That's fucked up. Bro, that is messed up. Seriously, understand what the Trump verdict means. That in fact, Trump unlawfully cheated to win the 2016 election. Then the election law felon went on to nominate 3 SCOTUS judges. What profound injustice to us all that our system has no mechanism to right this history-altering crime. Think about this, guys. 3 SCOTUS justices overturned Roe v. Wade. They overturned a piece of settled legislation in America that has stood since 1973. And they did it because Trump broke the law. I'll be honest with you guys. I am so sick of this motherfucker. I am, dude. I'm just tired of hearing his scuzzy, degenerate, lying, fake story making, name calling. I'm just tired. Crooked Hillary, crooked Joe Biden, you know, fat pig this and whatever this, Pocahontas, all his negativity, making up lies about migrants and women and the grabbing, the sexual abuse, and the fake about Obama and the deep state and all his bullshit. I'm just tired of this man just spewing his scandalous, untruthful, nasty, acidic, banal, boring, uncreative all over us because of his massive ego and his refusal to acknowledge the shit he does. His blame and just wanting to start fires and create chaos. He wants to sow chaos everywhere. And because he's plugged into a system that affords him the power to be able to do that, he does it over and over and over again. And I just can't wait for him to be done with this shit. Put him in jail. Put a muzzle on him and shut him the fuck up. You know what I'm saying? Seriously, I don't want to see his stupid ass tweets anymore either. Every rally is like the same. It's like a broken record. Just shut up already. But here he was. All right, this is his response.
This was a disgrace. This was a rigged trial by a conflicted judge who was corrupt. It's a rigged trial, a disgrace. They wouldn't give us a venue change.
They wouldn't give you a venue change. The crimes were committed in New York, you idiot.
5% or 6% in this district, in this area. This was a rigged, disgraceful trial. The real verdict is going to be November 5th by the people.
Yeah, you bet it is. We're going to remember Roe v. Wade. We're going to remember all your lies, your bullshit.
And they know what happened here, and everybody knows what happened here.
Yeah, you're crook.
You have a Soros-backed DA, and the whole thing. We didn't do a thing wrong.
Soros.
I'm a very innocent man.
He didn't do a thing wrong. No, that's why Michael Cohen went to prison for 3 years, dude.
And it's okay. I'm fighting for our country. I'm fighting for our Constitution.
Oh, yeah. Sure you are.
Our country is being rigged right now. This was done by the Biden administration.
Our whole country is being rigged right now, guys. Hey, guys, guess what? The whole country is being rigged. It's rigged. It's corrupt. The whole country is being rigged. Bro, that's right. Jenny and I went to the beach to celebrate our 11-year anniversary. Dude, it wasn't even a beach, right? The beach was rigged, bro. We were in a simulation, man. We went into this room. We saw the ocean. I never actually touched the ocean. So, dude, it was clearly had to be rigged, bro. Right? They're probably switching it out right now. If we drove back there right now, it would be like a winter Alp scene. Rigged. Dude, it was. It was, dude. It was the deep state. Dude, the lucid dream. Same crap.
In order to wound or hurt an opponent, a political opponent. And I think it's just a disgrace. And we'll keep fighting. We'll fight till the end and we'll win. Because our country's gone to hell. We don't have the same country anymore. We have a divided mess.
Oh, we have a divided mess. Huh. That's weird. Wonder when that started. Wonder when the divided mess started. Dude, Blanche looks like he's f***ing his pants right now. I'm wondering when this divided mess started. Because I don't know, guys. It felt like when Obama was president, it felt like stuff was going pretty good. And then somebody took office right around, I don't know, 2016. And next thing you know, if I wear a pride shirt, all of a sudden people are calling me a pedo and a demon. Weird. That's weird. Huh. When did that start, bro? How'd we get there? How'd we get to where you can't even have an election now without the claims of it being rigged? Unless Donnie wins. If he doesn't win, it was rigged. If he had gotten acquitted, you think he would have been out there saying, oh, they acquitted me. This was rigged. No, rigged means he lost. That's what rigged means. It means he's a whiny.
We're a nation in decline, serious decline. Millions and millions of people pouring into our country right now. from prisons and from...
Dude, he's still talking about millions of people pouring into our country from prisons. Yeah, well, guess what, Donnie? Now you're from prison. You have more of a criminal record than any of those migrants.
Mental institutions, terrorists, and they're taking over our country. We have a country that's in big trouble. But this was a rigged decision right from day one with a conflicted judge who should have never been allowed to try this case. Never.
Why didn't you take the stand, Donnie?
We will fight for our Constitution. This is long from over. Thank you very much.
Why should voters vote for convicted felons? And there you have it.
All right, Trumpy. Let's see what Fox was saying.
I don't know. I wish I could be more eloquent than that. It is every trial lawyer's dream and every trial lawyer's nightmare.
Dude,
trying to figure out,
did this guy fall asleep out in the sun?
The jury is going to go. And I make no bones about it. I felt firmly that there would be one juror who would look at the case and say, there's not enough here for me to influence the election, no more than the former president is being accused of influencing the election.
Dude, there was so much evidence.
Something doesn't feel
there really was.
With what's gone on in this case and what's gone on with the former president and this country, and that lawfare really does exist, and I'm not going to be...
Yeah, this guy's boring. We got to see Janine Pirro. She flipped a lid, bro. Oh my God. Oh, here it is.
It could be months, it could be years. Like Andy said, it may be a long time before that is
Look
resolved.
at her.
It is resolved. But what that leaves is this White House, the Biden-Harris campaign, free now to call President Trump a convicted felon. I got to say, though, over a year ago when President Trump was asked, will you drop out of this race if convicted, or not convicted, if indicted, he said, no, because I actually think it will help me in my poll numbers. They've done well in fundraising. He's done well in polling. Does this help or hurt now in the public opinion, where he's got to get independent voters, where he's got to get people who are not necessarily part of his base, now that he's got this conviction, which may or may not one day be overturned?
You know, Shannon, I don't have the answer to that question. I want to believe that Americans believe in justice, and I think that in their they realize
we want felons to be pushed off.
We have gone over a cliff in America. This verdict is a verdict of someone who was forced to fight a 1,000-pound gorilla with both hands tied behind his back. This was a defendant for whom crimes were created, against whom a judge was picked, that out of the ordinary, not from the drum, but a judge who was handpicked for this defendant, who denied him the ability to fight the way he needed to fight, who brought in crimes that we've never heard of in New York before, where they had dead misdemeanors that they resurrected into felonies based upon non-unanimous verdicts of crimes that are federal, over which no state court or no state judge or prosecutor has jurisdiction.
She is melting.
Smoke and mirrors and 34 counts, and a hooker and a guy, according to a federal judge, is a serial perjurer. We have convicted a former president.
Well, but one could ask, why didn't the president take the stand? He's innocent. It's all made up, right? I'm telling you, bro, if I was on trial and I was innocent, I would be taking the stand, motherfucker. I would be active there, baby. Get me on that stand. Let's go. For him to say this is all made up and he wasn't willing, think about that. This guy wants to be our president, but he's saying if there's a fake scam against him, he ain't gonna stand up and be honest and fight it out in front of everybody open? Like, come on, bro. That's weak. That is candy ass, bro. There's no way, dude. She's gonna go on and on about how, oh, it was a hooker and this, that, and the other. She's gonna debase all these people. But homeboy, Mr. Innocent, Over here, Donnie never actually took the stand in his own defense.
A former president of the United States of America. We've gone over a clip. The question as to whether or not America will react to this, whether his numbers will go up or down, I don't know. And people say, should it go to the Supreme Court? No, it can't go to the Supreme Court unless they exhaust all of the state court appeals. I've spent 32 years in this system.
Dude,
and
she
I am totally
is
disillusioned.
livid.
You had a judge and you had a DA who literally campaigned on making sure that this president would be indicted.
She is melting down, bro. To convict a former president of crimes that are not even specified in the indictment. Oh, they're specified in the indictment. They're all specified. And for which the president was not allowed to defend himself, he was allowed. Take the stand, bro. He said he was going to take the stand. He did. Why didn't he? We've seen their game. I mean, they've been very open about it. Like, they've even been saying, if there's one Trump fan on that jury, they're going to acquit him. Like, that's just it. Like, to them, there is no law. There is no constitution. There's not even a right or wrong anymore. It's like Trump or nothing. Trump or burn the world down. I've been the Democratic voter all my life. I don't love all the Democrats. I don't even love Joe Biden. I respect a number of things he's done, but for the most part, I think he's a decent human being, but I don't like his moderate, middle-of-the-road style. He's too wimpy, bro. He is. Biden. He's too much of a pushover, too much trying to do the both sides and make everybody happy sort of thing. But he's a decent human being, okay? So I'm willing to vote for him. But I don't love the man. But, man, if something came out tomorrow that Joe Biden was criminal and there were indictments going forward, boss, I would wipe my hands with the man. I am not voting for a convicted felon. Now, the question is, though, is how is this going to affect those independent voters? Right? Because we know that Donald Trump's, his diehard voters, they don't care. They could watch him step on a baby's skull in the middle of Fifth Avenue and they wouldn't give a shit. They don't care how crooked or deceitful or toxic he is. We already know that. His base is about racism and power and hate for them. This is about the idea that they believe Democrats and progressive, compassionate human beings are demons, and they literally would like to put us all in jail, okay? These evangelical MFers. So those people are going to just love Donald Trump. But what's it going to be like for the independent voters in America?
Be careful what you wish for. And I don't want to see this happen because I believe in the system. To not believe in the system means that I wasted 3 decades of my life. I have to believe in the system.
Well, if you have to believe in the system, then you probably should accept that he's guilty, right? How can she have worked in the system for 3 decades? Like, she knows, dude. She knows you can't rig a jury trial. What is she talking about? She knows that it's not possible to rig an entire jury with the predisposed ending. Both sides picked the perfect 12 jurors to rig it. Like, come on, bro.
You have just energized a sleeping giant across America. That, you know what? There are DAs in this country, in all 50 states, who say, I have the power to indict. I have a grand jury. Let's hit it.
You do need evidence, though, Janine Pirro. That's one thing you're leaving out. You can't just have a DA and a grand jury and just start getting indictments. You do need to have evidence. The DA must present legitimate evidence that the grand jury is like, it looks like there might be some guilt there. You can't just go up there and say, hey, can we have a couple of indictments? I don't know what she's even talking about.
America's saying, you know what? Now we see them juxtaposed against each other, and it's not fair. And we are a country that was born of revolution. Revolution
born
is in
of
our
revolution.
DNA.
Dude, yeah, this is a revolution, actually. We're witnessing a revolution where a wealthy, white, powerful government crook, this is a Nixon-like revolution, except Nixon resigned and left the presidency. If Donald Trump had resigned after he got impeached in 2020 and just gone away, they wouldn't have prosecuted him. But you bet your ass, if Richard Nixon had not resigned and had tried to become a douchebag and be a spoke in the wheel of government, dude, Nixon, they would have done the same thing to him because he was a crook. But Trump got impeached twice for criminal behavior, bro. And he could have just resigned and been done with it and walked away. But no, man, he wants to just be he wants to be a lamprey on the shark of American life. And he just had to keep pushing and keep like trying to grab all that power. And now they're catching up with him, all of his criminal behavior.
And I hope it's only at the ballot box. Don't get me wrong. But my insides are so angry because this was not a case that should have been brought.
Let me give you one more update, if you don't mind.
Dude, she's angry because I don't think they thought he was going to be guilty. They did not think he was going to be guilty.